I want to show you guys something. I want to show you what my Colombia is. Let me make sure this is on. All right, hopefully the sound is still good. I prefer to put it in front of my mouth, but I get tired of putting that there. And yeah, it just covers up the screen. Okay, I want you guys to see what Colombia is for a Colombian, okay? How we live and what the things that we do when we go out and we have fun. All right, so this is the real Colombia that I want to show to everybody, okay? So what we usually do here in the mountainside, we have like these little houses like this. They have little restaurants. People come here. There's a lot of cars going through here. And as you can see, this belongs to this particular restaurant. The restaurant right there. And right down there, there's another restaurant belonging to another group. Very busy. They have lots of things that they sell on the sides. If you go further up the mountain, they have areas where you can paraglide. They have different parks where you could do rappelling, which I will show later on. And this is what we like to do on the weekends. Please forgive me if that's choppy, and if it's edited. I was trying to edit my mom and my family out of it. I'm sorry, I should say, because yeah, she doesn't like being on camera. Even though she doesn't like being on camera, somehow she ends up on camera. That's, you know, Colombian moms for you. And yeah, so that was me traveling within the Cauca Valley, Valle del Cauca. For those who don't know, in Colombia we call a state, we call them departments or provinces. I am from the department of Valle del Cauca, the Cauca Valley. For those who go to Medellin, that is known as the Department of Antioquia or the province of Antioquia. Okay, and so it is a valley that is about, I would say, 3 departments down, maybe 4 departments down to the south of that. So we have like a different culture, you know, different way of speaking and everything else. Like I mentioned in my other videos, you know, we have a stronger African descent of peoples there and stuff like that, so that is unique to our culture. We also have you know, a lot of indigenous groups that you don't see, well, some that you don't see in the Antioquia region. And so what we like to do, because within the valley, you know, it does go to the Pacific coast, but most of the valley is inside between mountain ranges. We have the furthest to the west, one in the middle, which is the Central Cordillera, and then you have a third one outside of that, you know, to a whole different department right there. So since we don't, you know, since the beach is too far away, we go to the rivers on the weekends. You know, we go to the countryside on the weekends. And I went out with my family, my mom, my uncle, my grandma, different people. We went out together as a big group, because that's what we do. We go in groups, you know, as in family. Lo puedes sacar para ir comentando todo. ¿Sí? Los ají, papa rellena, jugo. Yo conocí un man que tiene canal de YouTube y él dice. So that what you saw right there is the type of caramel that we're making. What you saw within my hand is papa rellena, which is a stuffed potato with you know, grounded beef, egg, sometimes bits of chicharrón, which is fried pork rinds, you know, fried pork stomach, not pork stomach, the belly, the skin. And my uncle was having empanada, which is actually grounded. It's not the one that's made from you know, in a factory somewhere. You know, it's actually grounded with, you know, meat, and you put all types of seasoning in it. And the green stuff that you saw is ají, which is basically chili peppers. But our chili peppers is not as spicy as the Mexican one. You chop it up into little pieces with tomatoes and onion and long onion, like the round onion and the green onion. And you put a little bit of vinegar in it, you know, put a little bit of spice in it, and it tastes really good. When I travel in the countryside. I stop at the small stores. The food tastes so fresh. The food tastes so delicious. You can actually feel it, because everything that we make it like directly from scratch. This is the Colombia that I want to see. Not some people hanging out in parquilleras in the red light district talking to people, trying to pick up women and red beer rants and the bald guys and the passport bros and stuff like that. That looks awful. See, I would show more, but the thing is that when I was beginning as a digital content creator, you know, I was very naive, and you tend to find out that you get a lot of negative people in the comment section. I will show you our finca, which is our farm, okay, a real one, not those not those ones with the big huge pools and everything else for vacation and luxury. No, I'm talking about like with like cows and pasture. Bueno, mi reina, esto es un jugo de isque
del uno con piña y maíz y granos de maíz.
Entonces, esta es una choricito con arepita maduro. Sería 6.800.
Yo la voy a colocar.
Ya.
Mira cómo se ve allá el río tan impresionante. Aquí ya 2 veces. Andrés.
Salecita, que viene salecita.
Ah, bueno, ya le traigo sal. Arroz de carne molida. Mira, si le metió tierra cada vez.
Para allá.
Mejor dicho, tío, a tomar
Something really important to show you guys. Well, this is really special. That huge area that I was walking up is going to a little town called El Cerrito, I'm sorry. And the big area right there was before it has like a big mansion. It's like a hacienda, which is a big ranch. And it has an old style mansion from the 1800s. And it was owned by a very famous person that they made a novel out of him because he was in love with his cousin or his long distance cousin or something like that, and a lot of things, political intrigue, and it was based upon real life. Well, doing research, because they actually have a website, the guy's name is Jorge Isaacs. Original name is George Isaacs. And where's George Isaacs from? He is from Jamaica, my friends. He is a British Jewish man born in Jamaica. He went to Colombia. I believe I don't remember too well, but from what I remember reading was that he was helping along with the independence and everything else, the funding. The guy had a lot of money because I went on there and this guy must have like 30 acres of land. Like his front garden alone, it takes like 10 minutes to walk, like just in a straight line. And they what the people do around it, it has curators, it has historians, it has people who's maintained the grounds. Like the place is like 200 years old. It talks about how the guy has had servants. I'm sure he had slaves at that time. I saw this room with a giant urn, like all the way up to the ceiling, and it was filled with gravel and coal and everything else. You put the water in, the water go all the way down. It will filtrate the water. I mean, this was decked out. I don't think it was Jewish for too long because there was a room which you will see, which was the prayer room, and it had like pictures of Jesus Christ and everything else. So I guess he must have converted when he married that particular lady. They did end up getting married. It's called El Paraíso, the paradise, and yeah, like there's people up front selling stuff. Inside of it, huge gardens and everything else. It's real nice. It's real nice. Okay, so we're coming up Hacienda El Paraíso. This is a 200-year-old house, famous hacienda, and supposedly it's about 200 years old. There's a famous novela soap opera based upon this novel. The two owners were lovers, but they were like long distance cousins. ¿Cómo se llama? Efraín and María. is the name of it.
De cómo ellos se vestían.
So this is a representation. Esta es la representación como era en esos tiempos. So this is the representation in that time of how they had dressed. I think it was the 1800s. 1800, Mama?
Sí, 1800.
It was around the 1800s. So these are the rose bushes in front of the house. A lot of people come here. On the other side, you have people like some type of park fair going on with lots of rides. And so people do come here to take photos in front of the house. I only got about 12%, so I'm going to run up over there real quick. All right, look at this huge tree. It says here, La Academia de Historia del Valle, the Academy of History of the Valley, 1954.
Apenas estamos llegando.
Ah, bueno, para invitarlos a tomar una cortesía de bienvenida.
Gracias.
That kind of looks like Mark Twain. I don't even know who that is. It probably represents something about literary because, you know, as I said, there was a novel based upon this place. There was a novel based upon this place, and that's the reason why. You know, that's probably that has Mark Twain's picture. I mean, a bust right there.
En el Moisés Movín. Para los que han leído la obra o la vayan a leer, Felipe no aparece en la obra. Nace unos años después de haber sido escrita y publicada la misma, solo que en honor a su memoria se le tiene en cuenta.
¿Usted se acuerda de ese asiento rojo que mi papá tenía? Que él tenía un asiento rojo así.
Voy a tener que ser bilingüe porque me quedan como 9% en el celular, entonces tengo que grabar rápido antes de que se me apague. So I gotta do this bilingual because I am running out of battery. I only got 9% left. A correr bien rápido. Parece como que está haciendo guía de turismo porque se oye como que alguien está hablando. It seems that someone is talking, probably like a tourist guide. I only got 9% on my phone. So it looks like they got a little shop here in the bottom. Guards. So this is the house. I want to take a quick picture in a second.
Esa de Efraín.
Okay, so I guess this
Tenía su escritorio
this
para
is
las
Efraín, the famous man who lived here. I thought that was Mark Twain. I guess that was the style back in the day. This was his room.
También así porque como hizo ese de pronto se pudo molestar.
Entre los indígenas como Palacana o Copay, había un esclavo heredado de la primera dinastía y dejaba la posesión de la señora y lo llenaba con agua. Utilizó a la señora para lavarse sus manos y su rostro.
I guess they haven't got a tour in Guía Turismo.
Aposento del padre de Efraín.
Aposento de Emma.
Aposento de doña Emma.
Okay, so back in the old days, men and women actually slept in separate rooms.
Gracias por la invitación, sobrino.
Ah, nada. Damas y caballeros, me quedan como 3-4% en el celular, así lo que voy a hacer en este momento, voy a tener que apagarlo. Bien pueda. Voy a tener que apagarlo y más tarde continuo con la historia de mi viaje por acá en el Valle del Cauca. Adiós para todos. Goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
This fresh water seems to be coming in from the waterfall, I think.
Sí, ya. ¿Sabe? Porque es para alejar los insectos de la casa.
Oh, my mom says it's to keep away the insects from the house.
De las hormigas. Mira el sistema, vea. Este es original, vea. Mira. ¿Sí ves? Lo traen desde Aliños. En todas las casas había una piedra de esas. y donde se molía el maíz, los granos. Estos son. Eran de adobe, no existía el adobe.
Ella por debajo también quedaba bien peluchina. No tiene tanto tiempo.
Cuando yo los sembré, era así. Papi, mira esos árboles.
Sí, qué bonito.
Ese árbol,
Claro, mirarlo también.
Okay, so I have about 4 to 3%. They said this is the new area that was being built. So I'm gonna have to shut it down here. And voy a tener que continuar más tarde. And the fireplace for my plant lovers. This is called Mano de Dios, the hand of God. Oh, they say hand. Chico, the girl, lady behind it called Cacho de Venado. For my plant lovers. For my plant lovers. My grandma's house, en la casa de mi abuela tenemos uno de estos. That's for meat and for spices. Eso es para la hierbas y para la carne. Y también tiene un pilón acá gigante. Bakery break. Next, I would say 10-second clip is really funny, and I'll tell you why. I told you guys that my family, my father's side, is from Cali, but my mother's side is more from the rural areas, you know, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want passport bros going there. And, you know, even though my family lives in the town, my grandmother was born in the countryside, and we built a country house for her before she passed away. And this is a military checkpoint right going there on the way back. So, like, you know, we had lots of family come by, and we were hungry, so we went to buy a whole bunch of like sausages and bread and stuff just to rustle something up. And there's a military stop, and I remember because they stop you and they will search you. You know, you gotta get off, because I went on the motorcycle with my uncle. Listen, you will see like 15 soldiers, and they're young, 18, 19 years of age, in the dark, okay, between these little towns in the countryside, and they're just standing at attention like that in the dark. You know, women and men. I actually took a picture of one time, and you know, you gotta get off, and they look at your cedula, which is your citizenship ID card, where you going, what you doing, and stuff like that. At home, I'm from outside of the country, you know, because, you know, even though I speak Spanish, my Spanish is a little bit off at times. And I said, okay, cool. So I'm riding with my uncle, and we got the sausages. They're like, hey, uncle. He goes, what? You think they're going to take our sausages? He goes, man, I hope not. Let's buy some extra ones. Acá comprando comida en... Gracias. Comprando un chorizo aquí en el pueblito. Vamos a ir para un retén de soldados allá arriba, antes de la casa de mi abuela. Colombian hacking the system 101.
Mi carro está fácil.
So my mom and I were going to buy this piece of bread here with some Coke, and not only we're going to buy that, but we are going to put it in our bag so I can eat it on the plane, because the food costs too much money. Plane food is a lot. This airport is a lot. Aquí ando el aeropuerto 101. Vamos a comprar este pan acá de trenza. Vamos a comprar una Coca-Cola, y ese mismo pan me lo va a comer para cuando me lo voy a meter en el avión, porque ya eso cuesta todo, es muy caro acá. Right behind me, if you're paying attention, right behind me, right before I started talking at this very moment, you saw two people eating soup. Okay, they're Chinese Colombian. For some reason, people think that everybody in Colombia looks like me. You know, half mixed and mestizo and everything else, and maybe a few black people, some indigenous people. Colombia is a mixed country just like everybody else. Maybe not to the same extent as the United States, but we have people there. There's Chinese Colombians, Japanese Colombians. I have met Jewish people, Muslims, and I'm talking about people that have been there for hundreds of years, not just like in the last 50 years, all right? Hundreds of years. If you go to the northern coast, you'll find mosques. If you go to the capital, you find synagogues. And these are people that have been there since the 1700s, 1800s, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, for example, I have an uncle, political uncle, and he's married to my aunt, and he's fourth generation Chinese. Of course, he's mixed to the point where you could barely tell, but I have met Chinese people who are not mixed. I have met Japanese Colombians, Chinese Colombians. I have not too many Koreans out there. So now we're getting near the end of my video, and this is what I want to show people: the real Colombia. None of this nonsense where you have these passport bros sitting in a hot tub somewhere with 30 women in the hot tub, and they're all 18 or looking like they probably be younger. This is not the Colombia that I know. The Colombia that I know is very family oriented. It is conservative. It is cultural. Each region a different culture, a different language, a different food. And this is what I want to show. We have German people descents in Santander region, Santander. I'm sorry, and the famous pan de ono, which is a cheese bread that made with cassava. Supposedly it was created by an Italian in Cali. We have people of different types of backgrounds in Colombia, but unfortunately, people don't travel everywhere because they just want to stick to Medellin for some reason. Colombia is not just Medellin. Medellin represents like 0.0001%. And yes, it is true they're paisa, but there's different variations of paisa. Not all of the paisas are the same. I keep on telling people the word paisa is an ethnic group of people that work in the coffee axis region, okay? And they're descendants of farmers in the coffee axis region. And their forefathers way back then, even though you have different paisas, different colors right now, but originally they're from the Basque region, which is the northern part of Spain. That's where they originally come from. That's where the culture is and everything else. You have different ethnic groups and Colombians. Okay, hopefully I was able to share something very nice, a part of my culture that I want to share with you guys. All right, us Colombians are tired of seeing all the adult services workers walking the streets with these perverted looking guys. I mean, these guys that just don't look right and things like that. Let me show you culture. Let me show you food. Let me show you something else. All right, because Colombia is way more than that. Thank you very much if you made it this far, and please like and subscribe. Oleadas. Permiso.
No, yo pero ya empiezo a grabar. Chica que me voy. No, yo muy malo para esta altura.
Ah, es que se van a tirar en esa cuerda, se van para allá abajo.
Ya.
Podemos venir aquí con catering. Surf aéreo, 2 cuerdas de acero. Más. Sí, ma.